And we can't wait, Steve, I tell you, because it is a mighty grid of over 40 cars across the 4 classes that the Mini 7 Racing Club has brought to Brands Hatch. You've got the Melias, the 1300cc, 670 kilo cars. They do 125 miles an hour, 0 to 60 in 4.5 seconds on a Dunlop slick tyre. They will be the fastest. They'll be at the very front. You've got the Mini 7s, 1 litre engine cars. They weigh 660 kilos, very, very close racing. And then you've got the 7S class for those drivers on a budget, limited modifications, and the freedom of the Mini Libra class as well. The grid is based on the best lap times that drivers set in the earlier race today. Kane Aston is the man on pole position. Endaf Owens alongside him. It's a 2x2 grid. The second row is the unlucky Rupert Death, who got damage in the race this morning. Nick Padmore alongside, who's been a winner here in historic Formula 1 machinery, now wants a win in a Mini as well. And the third row, Sam Summerhays and Aaron Smith, unbeaten this year in the 2 races here and the 2 at Donington. The fourth row, Colin Peacock and the 2013 British Touring Car champion Andrew Jordan. Jason Porter is next on the grid alongside Lee Deegan, whose brother Shane is a previous champion in Mini Amelia. Scott Kendall and Dave Drew next on the grid on the 6th row. Behind them, James Cuthbertson and Tony LeMay. Niven Burge was in the gravel in the earlier race today. Rich Jessop's alongside him, ahead of Robert Howard and Jason Balding. And Peter Harris should complete the Melias, but I fear he's missing. Dan Lewis has had 3 wins to the 1 of Rob Davis in the Libra class. They're ahead on the grid of the cars of Phil Harvey, Josh Evans and Darren Cox. Darren, the man behind the Nissan GT PlayStation Academy and World's Fastest Gamer initiatives. Then the 7s, headed by Spencer Wanstall, who's had a win. Jeff Smith, yes, that one from Touring Car Racing. He's had 2 wins, last year's Mini 7 champion. 3 times a champion, Andrew Devaney next, with Max Hunter a double champion. Ross Billison and Lee Roberts come next on the grid, ahead of Graham Davis and Jordan Sims. The redoubtable Stephen Hopper, stalwart of Mini 7 racing, is next with Julian Proctor alongside him. Phil Gillibrand is alongside Joe Polly, who lost a wheel in the earlier race. Joe, daughter of the legendary hot rod racer George Polly. And then it's Conor O'Brien on the next row alongside Thorburn Aston. You're into the S class now. Just to complete the grid, Matthew Ayres, James Kemp come next. Benz, Butler and Cutler line up alongside each other, ahead of Greg Dorr, who's had a win in the S class. Mark Chappell, Darren Jeremiah and Stuart Gilby, who was in the gravel earlier on today, complete a mighty grid. The only sadness of this is that it's 20 minutes. It's one of those races where you desperately want somebody to hide the checkered flag, because this promises to be great entertainment. The Mini 7 Racing Club began in 1966. It's a wonderful club. It's got a proper archive full of great characters, all of whom care passionately about the Mini, about the quality of the racing. You can do this on a budget. Yes, the Melias are a little bit like Special Saloons used to be these days, but they produce great racing. And there's one car, I fear, with a problem. Driver with his hand out of the window there, going down towards Clearways. Now let's try and identify who it is, because there are reserves ready to take places on the grid, but there was certainly one car. There it is with a problem. 616 it is. Now that was a car that never got a run this morning, Justin Cooper, because he was a reserve. This was his big moment, and I'm afraid the car has got a problem on the final formation lap, and that is going to be a non-starter. That is cruel luck to get so close to the start of the race, and then for the car to, I was going to say expire, then it burst into life again. So he may be, as a reserve, forced to start from the back of the grid, and he might have just been getting himself to the correct grid position. Either way, let us hope that he is able to start the race and not have any further drama. So there at the very back is this car of Justin Cooper. It's one of the Libra class cars. Right then, any one of about half a dozen at least could come out on top in the Melia class. And it's probably about the same within the Mini 7s. Tim Harvey, this promises to be great fun.
Yeah, we've had 2 excellent races so far. Both races have been absolutely fantastic, so I'm really looking forward to it. There's literally a cigarette paper's width between the cars on most of the laps.
Absolutely right. It's pretty hot inside these cars, as you can see. Nick Padmore getting some fresh air in. Nick, former historic Formula 1 champion, lap record holder around Goodwood, and a Lola T70 Spider, very accomplished driver. He and his father both used to race in pre-66 historic Minis. Kane Aston's blue and yellow car on pole position then, as the lights go out to get the Dunlop Mini Challenge underway. A bad start by Padmore. The pink car of Aaron Smith then, unbeaten this year, makes the run down towards the right-hand Leader then as they drop into Paddock Hill Bend, and through he goes, but it is Kane Astin then who has the advantage as they make the run now up towards Druids for the first time. The slightly slower Mini 7s are all fanning out across the road. Number 70, Andrew Jordan, dive bombs Lee Deegan there in the orange car to go through, but it's Kane Astin who hits the front. Rupert Death in 23 second, not for much longer. Endaf Owens, the Welshman, dives through and he goes second on the inside line.
Yeah, Rupert Death made a great start. He's really out to prove something in this race, having led yesterday's race all the way through to the last lap, only to be overtaken and beaten by Aaron Smith. And then in this first race today, he had a damage, so he's really got something to prove.
So
here comes Jordan, on the outside, 3 abreast on the run down to Hawthorne.
So 20 minutes it was, it's now 20 including that green flag lap. So as you can see, we've only got 14 minutes of racing to go now as they dive into Hawthorne's. Jordan, number 70, on the back of Rupert Death, but the leader, Kane Astin, is getting away. Endaf Owens is second. Nick Padmore in the white car goes to the inside there of Sam Summerhays as they dive into Westfield. The tyres squeal, the cars hop. Number 48, Lee Deegan, then on the back of Andrew Jordan, who tries to line up on the inside of Rupert Death, and 2 wheels on the grass then. Andrew Jordan tries to squeeze by. Does it work? Yes, it does. He bounces over the curb, he goes through. He's ahead of Death then as they come into Stirling's, all of which plays into the hands of the race leader. But have a look, the shocking pink car there of Aaron Smith, the man that's won every race thus far this year, is a long, long way back. And that's Jeff Smith, the reigning Mini 7 champion in the orange General Lee liveried car, taking to the dirt. Jordan and Padmore are side by side. Sam Summerhays just ahead of them as they come up towards the line at the end of that one. Kane Astin no longer the leader because Endaf Owens gets a tow, gets the outside line. Does he get the lead? Yes, he does. Off the brake, chucks the car in. Great move.
Wow, he was so late on the brakes there. That was a terrific move. And well, if they fight amongst themselves, it's not going to be long before the Summerhays, Jordan and Padmore group catch them up.
So Jordan's round the outside of Death, Lee Deegan in the orange and white car, the Peter Baldwin livery of years past, and the pink car of Aaron Smith. Don't rule those two out because they're very accomplished drivers indeed. Aaron Smith, double champion. Endaf Owens has been racing minis almost since they were invented. Lots of arm waving in the cockpit there to say to Kane Astin, don't fight, let's try and work together and get away if we can, because otherwise this huge pack of Mini Melias will be right there with them. The leading 7 at the end of the opening lap was Jeff Smith, but now look, Astin back in the draft as they come down to Hawthorne.
This is a great battle, those lovely colours from Peter Baldwin, for so long a stalwart of the Mini Melia series.
So Endaf Owens leads, Kane Astin then, who has been a Melia champion and a 7 champion. He has been a loyal mini racer for many, many seasons, Kane Astin. It was 09 he won the 7 title, and he wasn't a rookie, I promise you. Jordan then to the outside of Padmore, and in turn, Padmore has a go at Sam Summerhays, but 3rd, 4th and 5th are certainly catching the race leaders. Sam Summerhays in the blue car, Andrew Jordan, one of the 2 Swift-Tune prepared cars, or the engine is a Swift-Tune built engine, then the JRT car in, 5th place now, just ahead of Lee Deegan as they dive down to Clearways, but this long, long line is all starting to bunch up, and here are the 7s. Crikey, you thought the Melias were frantic. You've got the 7s running with some of the S-Class cars through the right-hander of Westfield. Number 10 is Julian Proctor, so there's a real mix here. Just about everybody finding someone to race against.
Well, that's the beauty of a 50-car grid, isn't it? There's always someone to race against, and well, these the original Mini 7s was the bit of blue smoke there. But yeah, the original Mini 7s were the stalwart of this championship. They started way back in '66.
Right, now these are the leaders, and the gaps are non-existent pretty much. Endaf Owens has got about 1 mini length, big deal, and then everybody else is either side by side or nose to tail. Jordan, Summerhays, Deegan dive into Graham Hill Bend. What are they? 4th, 5th and 6th. 7th is Aaron Smith. 8th is Rupert Death. 9th is Colin Peacock, who is one of the prime movers within the Mini 7 Racing Club and has done so much to get this event within the British Touring Car package at Brands Hatch, and he's on the tail of Death. Now, what's going on in Mini 7 land? 0-1 is General Lee Jeff Smith then, and he's just ahead of Spencer Wanstall, number 73. So these 1 litre cars, very, very competitive against one another. They've got one of the spoilers in the pack there as well from the Libra class, as Endaf Owens just fends off Kane Astin. But Nick Padmore and Andrew Jordan arrive on the scene. Kane Astin to the inside line. You don't know who to defend from, do you?
No, I mean, Padmore and Jordan sort of ganged up on Summerhays, and Padmore went through first, and now Jordan's through, and they're continuing their push forwards.
Meantime, back in the 7s, Spencer Wanstall has gone through, so that now puts him up ahead of Jeff Smith, but Jeff's got other ideas about this. He had a pit lane start for the first race this morning after a late wheel change. Andrew Devaney, number 77, who won the morning race only just on the line, is almost up with them as well. So it's nearly 3 for the lead within the 7s here. They're not as quick, they're not as powerful, but they give just as good racing. Now, Aston under attack from Nick Padmore. This is for 2nd place. Jordan tries to get a mega toe off everybody as they come over the line. Padmore defends. Endaf Owens just leads as they dive into paddock.
Yeah, Jordan goes through as well, up the inside using the slipstream.
Now they're starting oh so slightly to drop Aaron Smith, who could be on for his first defeat of the season. Lee Deegan and then Rupert Deeth and Colin Peacock having their own battle, but they're just dropping away slightly. Endaf Owens, hugely experienced mini racer, keeping Padmore at bay. Jordan is 3rd, Kane Astin 4th, Sam Summerhays next. Right, what's going on in the 7th? We've got 5 for the lead now. Look, Andrew Devaney was a fair chunk back at the start of the last lap. He's now into 2nd place, but he goes wide. He's all over the curb. Can he hang on in there? Spencer Wanston tries to get him on the inside line. Also joining that gaggle now is Ross Billiton. Devaney on the outside. Keep an eye to the red, white and blue car of Max Hunter as well, double champion. His father Dick Hunter used to race in 7s with great success as well. As Padmore now makes his move on the outside line, but to no avail. Now Jordan comes up to have a go on the inside.
Yes, well, Devaney and Hunter were involved in that photo finish in race 1, weren't they? Absolutely together on the line. Don't write off Aaron Smith yet, because I think he's still a dark horse to get through on this group, especially as they're now all fighting amongst themselves.
It's the bright pink dark horse, I know what you mean. There he is on the inside of Sam Summerhays, absolutely side by side into Sturley's, through he goes. And don't rule out Lee Deegan in the orange and white car, and don't rule out Rupert Deeth in the silver car either, because they're all competitive. They try to go 3 wide under the bridge, then down towards Clark Curve. There is Summerhays, who got involved in an incident with Deeth in the race this morning. Now for the race lead, Nick Padmore lines up, has a go as they come over the timing line. Andrew Jordan gets the toe, keeps on coming. He knows all about this from racing historic minis at Goodwood, from racing touring cars. But Endaf Owens, wow, hangs on to the race lead, and Smith suddenly is up into 4th place.
Well, we saw how brave Endaf Owens was on the brakes into paddock earlier when he took the lead, and he showed it then, because I thought Padmore and Jordan were definitely both through.
Endaf Owens knows all about mini Melias. He's been, as I say, racing in this category on and off for certainly 2 decades. Aaron Smith then on the back of Andrew Jordan. If you ask Aaron who his racing hero is, he says Andrew Jordan. Well, he's about to try and put a move on AJ. Kane Astin, the pole man, is there in 5th spot. Then it is Lee Deegan next up. Rupert Deeth is behind. So that means that Colin Peacock has just lost a couple of lengths against them. But we've still got plenty of time left in which this can all shuffle around. And that, I'm afraid, is not a good sign. In the gravel is Dave Drew, and let's hope that the car is far enough out of harm's way not to need the race to be neutralised, as now Smith goes round the outside of Jordan. There's contact as bits of Padmore's car fly, so he rubs up against Endaf Owens. Jordan stuck behind Padmore, and Aaron Smith tries to go round the outside, which he does, curb and all, but Jordan's got the grunt coming out of the corner.
Yeah, I think Padmore's car's just a couple of inches too wide, isn't it? That's the same wheel arch that came off earlier. Flashing lights to get past the back markers, who kindly move out of the way.
It's Phil Gillibrand getting out of the way, as you say, terrorised out of the way apart by the Melias, who are on an absolute mission. Nick Padmore then to the outside, Endaf Owens flashing his lights, he dives into Clark Curve. Not sure at whom, but he's flashing them nonetheless. Jordan is 3rd, Smith is 4th. Here they come up towards the line. I think Endaf Owens having flick the switch now, they're going to be flashing permanently. But look at Smith in the pink car, he gets past one, gets between both of Padmore and Jordan. Is this the move for 2nd place round the outside line? Yes, it is. Is he going to come out ahead of Andrew Jordan? They almost touch. They're 3 wide going up the hill. Padmore buys into this on the inside line. Padmore on the inside, yellow flag waves though. That's going to throw plans into the air. Out of the corner they come, back to a green flag now, and out of all of that, Owens leads Jordan. Leads Smith, leads Padmore. Well,
I'm not quite sure how you sort that out approaching the yellow flag when they were 3 abreast, but some great racing between the 3 of them.
And we're not done yet, because now Padmore's on the attack once again. Up the inside line he goes, so Nick Padmore takes 3rd place. It is one of those races you just don't want to end, but Endaf Owens managing to defend thus far, but bit by bit the pressure is starting to come. Jordan, Padmore, Smith right there behind.
Oh, and look at that draft. Now, wait for it on the brakes. On the brakes, who's going to be bravest? Jordan round the outside. And I saw this in race 1. Endaf Edmonds, once he switches the lights on, they carry on flashing all the way. They don't go off.
So you've got Smith up to 3rd place now. but he needs to get a wriggle on because the danger is that Jordan might get away. But NF Owens will know exactly where he can use the toe. And there's another yellow flag waving as they come down towards Stirling. So there's another car off the road. Owens still with the lights are flashing, comes through. But Jordan's not escaping and Smith is back with them. And Padmore is there in 4th place, 4.5 minutes to go. So we've got another couple of laps we can wring out of this yet. So Andrew Jordan, who started, what, 8th on the grid. Not that the grid means a huge amount in mini racing, but he's there from 8th now to 1st. Traffic ahead, and it's 4 for the race lead with Smith on the attack.
Yeah, well, trust me, I don't think anyone's getting away at this in this race for sure. Oh, again, late brakes, NF Owens. All around the outside, has he gone too deep? Comes Smith up the inside. Yes, Smith's got cleanly up the inside now. Ooh.
Through he goes, wide he goes. Owens back on the inside, wheel lifting. Shades of John Rhodes, all of that. And there on the grass is Aaron Smith, Nick Padmore trying to work out where it's safest to be. And a bit of a brush between Owens then and Smith. And through it all, Andrew Jordan hangs on to the race lead. He had a 3rd yesterday, a 2nd this morning. You know what the pattern is? This is the first weekend he's raced this X-Wayne Grayer car, and it leads at the moment.
Yeah. A little bit of a gap between them, but that can all close up in the length of one straight, can't it, with a bit of a slipstream?
Because they're not the most aero-friendly shapes, are they, Minis? Down towards Hawthorns they come. And Jordan, yeah, there is 2 lengths in it, but Owens and then Smith and Padmore have certainly not given up yet. They fling the cars through Hawthorns, way out wide goes NF Owens. What was going on in the Mini 7? Spencer Wanstall then is ahead of Ross Billison, ahead of Jeff Smith as they dive down through paddock. So this is your 1, 2, 3, and then 4 in the background. Andrew Devaney, 5th in the 7s is Max Hunter. Devaney with a bit of damage, Wanstall through into the lead, but the way that he's going here suggests that Ross Billison might be on for a maiden victory this season. But Jeff Smith's got other ideas about it in 0-1 and he's on the attack. And here are the leading Melias. Jordan ahead of Owens, ahead of Smith, ahead of Padmore. Any one of those 4 could still win it.
Well, Andy Jordan, these cars are running on a Dunlop control slick, and Andy Jordan said he just was finding the limits of just how much grip there was. A lot of lateral grip in the fast corners, he felt, and he was still exploring the limits, but he's under attack again from Owens and from Smith.
Can NF Owens go all the way around the outside? He's going to try, but he's going to go too wide, and this means that Aaron Smith gets up the inside. Nick Padmore gets a mega toe as well. Smith has a look to the inside of Jordan, who defends. And Smith goes 2nd, and now Padmore's turn to come up and have a go at NF Owens then. So NF, who started way back on the grid in comparison, comes then down through the left-hander onto Cooper Straight. He's way out wide there also.
But how exciting and twitchy are these cars to watch?
5-second penalty for NF Owens, so track limits it is, I'm afraid. That is why in real terms now he drops down the order to 9th place. That's what the graphic was saying. So NF Owens falls down the order because of this 5-second time penalty. Andrew Jordan leads from Aaron Smith. Smith wants to maintain this 100% record, and he could yet do it. There'll be one more lap to ring out of the race at the end of this. Padmore fighting with Owens, who's got 2 wheels on the grass. He won't give up, will he? Fantastic stuff.
I mean, Padmore won't know he's got a 5-second penalty, but what a shame for NF Owens' race. He's been absolutely in the thick of it, really entertaining all the way through.
So now Jordan and Smith escaping, whisper it, from this battle that's between Owens and Padmore. And then behind them you've got Deegan and Deeth. And in the 7s, Andrew Devaney gets squeezed onto the grass a little bit by Jeff Smith, who locks up and gets it all wrong going into Druids. Good save, Jeff, but it's going to let Max Hunter up on the inside line in the Rob Selby tuned car. Downhill they come. And through all of that, Ross Billison is the leader. They're going to start the last lap this time, and it is Jordan versus Smith then. Absolutely nose to tail.
With some back markers in the way on this very last lap. Certainly not what Andy Jordan wants to see.
So through paddock they will turn. They could not be closer. Jordan dives to the inside line there, heading up the hill to try and get through the traffic. Ben Butler is the first target. Aaron Smith on the outside line, hoping to find clear real estate. Another back marker needs to be negotiated. That was Stephen Hopper getting out of the way. As down towards the left-hander of Graham Hill Bend they go for the last time. Smith shadowing Jordan. But don't forget, there's more mini racing experience within this championship. In that pink car of Aaron Smith, he will know exactly when to push and when to try and get the benefit of the slipstream. Of course, it could be that they end up side by side across the line, the perfect way to end the race. And suddenly, up into 4th place has gone Lee Deegan.
Yeah, who's going to come out on top here? Well, you'd think with all of Andy Jordan's race experience, look, he's blocking the inside, forcing Smith to the outside before moving over and taking his line. He knows how to defend, but nobody has more mini experience than Smith.
And can he find a way through on the inside? Not there. It's going to be a drag to the line, isn't it, this, the way it's shaping up? Andrew Jordan is ahead, but we saw it at Thruxton last year. We've seen it in mini racing in the past. Leading on the last lap is not necessarily the best place to be when it's this close, because you're giving a toe to the car behind. And look, Nick Padmore is there in third place. He's going to run out of time, but he's bringing the gap down corner by corner by corner. The checkered flag is at the ready. Boo. But here they come, up towards Clearways for the last time, and Smith is on the attack. He needs to get an absolutely brilliant slingshot out of the last corner to try to line up Jordan to have a go coming through Clark Curve. Is he close enough? Can he get a toe? Yes, he can. It's going to be a drag to the line. Andrew Jordan leads. Is he going to win? Aaron Smith is about to pull out alongside, but Andrew Jordan's just going to hold on. Andrew Jordan wins then for the first time in the Dunlop Mini Melia Challenge by 71 thousandths of a second from Aaron Smith. Nick Padmore is third. Fourth goes to Lee Deegan ahead of Rupert Deeth, Sam Summerhays, Colin Peacock, and Endaf Owens is next. And what's going on within the Mini 7s? Well, they have yet to get themselves up towards the line, but they were being led by Ross Billison. There he is. They've got the best part of half a lap still to go.
Well, let's carry on. This mini racing's not over yet, guys. We've still got the 7s to come through.
So Billison versus Spencer Wanstall. They dropped Jeff Smith a little bit. Andrew Devaney's battle-scarred car falling back in fourth place, but Ross Billison here doing a great job because he's up front when it counts, and he's got a couple of lengths advantage over Spencer Wanstall. So can Ross hang on in there?
He's got just enough of a gap, hasn't he? He's just got enough of a gap. There's really only the only thing you can do is pressurise into Clearways and then try and get a run to the line.
And the gap is coming down all the while then, isn't it now, as they are about to accelerate their way through Stirlington, heading down towards Clark Curve. The gap is coming down and down and down. So can Ross Billison then find a way by, hang on to take the win? Let's see. Spencer Wanstall is the man that goes for the inside line. Can't find a way through there, so Ross Billison is going to be ahead when it counts. Spencer Wanstall tries to get a toe, but Ross Billison wins the Mini 7 part of the race. Great battle with Spencer Wanstall, and it's another fight that goes right down to the wire, with Ross Billison's winning margin being 0.158 of a second. And that's probably one of the hardest races Andrew Jordan's had in a long time.
Yeah, well, what a great addition to the total programme these guest mini challenge races are. They always provide fantastic racing. And, well, if that's your only chance to see Andy Jordan race this year, he has half to put on a good show.
Absolutely right, yes. I mean, the Mini 7 Racing Club doesn't exist just for one weekend a year at a TOCA meeting. It has its own programme of races, obviously adjusted because of the last few months of lockdown. But you never find a bad mini race. The Mini 7 Racing Club that began in 1966 has been providing fabulous racing for decades. And you've just had a snapshot of it. Long may it continue, and we hope, underlined, block capitals, bold, that we have them back on the TOCA package next year. Alan Gow, are you listening? Meantime, Andrew Jordan and Aaron Smith discuss the race, and Aaron explains why he couldn't quite find 72 thousandths of a second, which would have been enough to win by, but Aaron did get the fastest lap of the race. Nick Padmore there in third place. So brilliant entertainment, as we expected. Andrew Jordan then wins the Dunlop Mini Challenge, supported by Mini Spares here at Brands Hatch. Aaron Smith taking second and Nick Padmore third. Lee Deegan fourth ahead of Rupert Deeth and Sam Summerhays, with Colin Peacock, Endaf Owens with a penalty, James Cuthbertson and Jason Porter rounding out the top 10. 11th, Tony LeMay ahead of Scott Kendall. Rob Davis, the winner of the Libra class from Josh Evans. Then Richard Jessup came through ahead of Darren Cox and Jason Balding. The 7s, the top 3 there. Ross Billison ahead of Spencer Wanstall. And Jeff Smith coming home in third place, the reigning Mini 7 champion. Max Hunter was next ahead of Andrew Devaney, and then Justin Cooper with Lee Roberts, Graham Davis next up, and Thorburn Aston a lap down, but still a class winner. He won the 7S element of the race ahead of Ben Butler. So, fabulous racing. As I said at the start, it's a great shame that there had to be a checkered flag at some point for that, but Mini 7, Mini Melia racing, as good as ever. Great entertainment, and we'll be right back at Brands Hatch after the break.